They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of this place.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. What's up? Now, this video, since I did a video about why there's no such thing as an alpha male, now this video is gonna be there's no such thing as an independent woman. Now, a lot of videos, a lot of guys, want to talk about an independent woman. She owns her own, she lives on her own and all that. You have to understand there's no such thing as an independent woman. It doesn't exist. It never has, it never will. The truth is, all women live on an allowance. You see, all women's rights are what the government and the governing body allow. Are there more successful women living off an allowance than others? Yes, but there's no such thing as an independent woman, because all her accomplishments, all her rights are tied to what the governing body allow. Unlike her male counterpart, where it's earned, or, it's not only earned, it's maintained. Because a man's rights are earned and maintained. They're not allowed. You know what I'm saying? They try to take certain rights, like how the Democrats are trying to take the right to bear arms from people, that they're gonna have a problem. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have a problem with the men that want to maintain and continue those rights. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to women, all their achievements and accomplishments are allowed. You got to look at something like this coronavirus. How, a lot of the men reverted back to manhood. You know what I'm saying? If I got to cook, my own food, if I got to hunt my own food, I'll do what I got to do. While them, they stayed in the house. They keep an eye on what the government's going to do and how the government's going to allow them to return to their previous life and allow allowance. You know what I'm saying? So that whole independent woman thing, it doesn't exist. There's no such thing, because all women live on allowance. It's about what the government allows them to do and the rights they're allowed to have. You know what I'm saying? I'm not against, I'm not against a lot of the rights that are given. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the truth as a whole is all women live on allowance. You know what I'm saying? The government with the no-fault divorce is allowing women to destroy their families and destroy their marriages and the stability that their children would grow up in. You know what I'm saying? Allowance. You know what I'm saying? Child support. The government is allowing women to put men on child support, collect money through a biased system. Allowance. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that stuff, everything going on between men and women, it's really, one has allowance, one has rights that are maintained and earned. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people gonna bring up, the marching for voting rights and so on. Well, when women were given the rights to vote in the 1920s, it was given because a lot of males in the government saw the benefit of that. If they could get women to vote, they could appeal eventually to one sex. And that's why today more women vote than men. You know what I'm saying? You have more women living. Women do not, and women are the best case scenario for voters, because women aren't going to war as the majority. So you'll always have the female voters. They'll live longer because they don't work as much dangerous jobs as the men. they're a better crop for votes. You know what I'm saying? That's what you gotta understand. They're a better crop for votes than the men, because women face far less danger to their life than men. You know what I'm saying? And all that independent woman stuff, you gotta understand. That's why you don't hear men saying, I'm an independent man, I'm a this, I'm a that, and they need, and notice how the government has to keep reminding women, you're an independent woman, you're successful, you're this, you're that, because they have to keep reminding them of what they're allowed, their allowance. You know what I'm saying? When you were growing up, you had allowance. You know how much money your parents gave you and so on when you came after school. All the rights women have are tied to their allowance. And that's why, you know, I've done a video series y'all need to check out, Why Feminism Fuels the Future. You need to really watch that series. It's a three-part series, but you have to understand, women live with knowing that everything, all the rights they have are allowance. And they know that were the government at any moment to remove their rights that they've been allowed to have, there's nothing they could do about it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you saw all these marches for the, you know what I'm saying, the aborting clinics. You know what I'm saying? You know, where they're like, you got to take that, you know, keep that there, our rights. But here's the thing about those aborting clinics. They're funded by the taxpayer. You know what I'm saying? Some states, a lot of them, because of, forget the name of this joint quick. Damn, I forgot their name. But, you know, a lot of those clinics are funded by the government. And a lot of things are given as an allowance, you know, funding for aborting, funding for tampons and so on, given by the taxpayer. But, you know, condoms are given too. But, you know, and then the rights, the allowance, you got to look at the level. You got to look at women like the spoiled child. Look at the level of allowance the government allows. The biggest act where you see the government doesn't really give a damn about the men is that here's the highest level of allowance. They allow, for example, you know what I'm saying, you're sleeping with a woman. You know what I mean? You slept with her, you impregnated her, you gave her your seed, and she is allowed to decide whether it lives or not. You know what I'm saying? Without, and here's the thing, I don't have the problem. No man has a problem with, you know what I'm saying, if she chose to abort the child because she doesn't want to give birth and push it out and go through that process. You know, that's her choice. The problem is when she wants to keep the child without consent of the man and wants to give life to that child. But that's part of that allowance the government has given. And the biggest thing the government allows is, you know, the fact that a lot of women don't face the checks and balances that a man does. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to understand. So a lot of women, just like there's no such thing as an alpha male because the government is playing the role of a man, and you can't compete with the government as a man, as an individual. You know what I'm saying? So what's happening is, you know, due to how the system works and how they're allowed and live off allowance, which is a high level of allowed rights and so on, without any checks and balances. You know what I'm saying? So there's no such thing as an independent woman because all her accomplishments, all her rights are based on what she's allowed to have. It can't be maintained. You know what I'm saying? You saw what happened with, I think, in Texas, where they were telling everybody to wear masks. A lot of men showed up there with guns. They said, yo, man, why should we be wearing masks outside? Not indoors. Why is that? You know, a man can defend his rights. A man can maintain his rights. A man can fight for his rights. A man can extend his rights through his will alone. You know what I'm saying? And uniting other men to fight for it and so on. So a lot of male rights are earned and maintained, while female rights are based on allowance. You know what I'm saying? If the government, like I said, just took all those rights away, what are they going to do? You know what I'm saying? What are they going to fight with? You know what I'm saying? What you going to do? You can't do nothing. So it's allowance. And what they don't get is that why would the government, you got to understand, a lot of women and a lot of men don't understand this, is that man has been going to combat with each other. We've been at odds. We've been competing with each other since man began, since mankind started. We've been competing with each other. We have over hundreds of thousands of years of experience competing against our fellow man. So why would, and I touched up on this on a previous video, why would the government give women rights that overshadow male rights, and then give them a level of rights that basically destroy the balance and stability of the society if it wasn't for advantage against other men? You know what I mean? We men do not do anything unless it has to do with an advantage. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said with the major loophole the government did when they gave women the rights to vote, which the government did, and I touched up on this video on a previous video, is that the government gave women the rights to vote with a major loophole. The loophole was that they would not balance the votes based on the sexes. As in, if 500,000 men voted to 400,000 women that voted, they won't equalize it, so it's only 400,000 votes on both sides. So a lot of women don't understand, why would the government run by men, ran by men, the majority of the government powers by men, why would they give you the rights to vote? Why would they give you all these rights unless they wanted an advantage against the males in their society? That's what a lot of women don't look at. And I'm going to make a video soon that touches up on that goes further. You know what I mean? A lot of women don't understand. That's why I say I don't blame women. Any man who blames a woman, you know what I mean? You're not a man. That means you're not looking at the bigger picture. You're not aware of the game being played. You're not aware that the women are the pawn in the big game. You know what I mean? The game is the government. The government is, and that's the thing, another thing you got to understand, a government cannot be destroyed because a government is a group of men agreeing to certain rules and stipulations. So if 5 men are in a room, that's a governing body. You know what I'm saying? But the current government that's fueled by corruption and chaos, they gave women an allowance of rights that overshadow and give an advantage over men because the government always wanted the advantage. And the advantage is if you can create a society where a man is not recognized, that a family without a man is still a family. You know what I'm saying? And in fact, you advertise it being a stronger and better family, then you can maintain that level of chaos. But what a lot of men need to understand, and this is just the truth, and when you look at, and this is why a lot of men, when they look at women saying they're independent and so on, a man isn't turned on by that, or, even if she's attracted or not, and because most men know instinctively that's a lie. You know what I'm saying? You're living all your rights are based on allowance. All men on on an instinctive and subconscious level, if they don't openly know that any woman that comes to them and says, I'm independent, knows it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Because you're living off an allowance. You're living off of what the government allows you to do. And basically you're living off, to break it down, you're living off based on what men allow you to do. That's why there's no such thing as an independent woman. It's basically there's a more successful woman living off allowance. You know what I mean? It's like that kid that, you know what I mean, his parents give him an allowance, plus he's got, his own job. That's basically what the women are doing. You know what I'm saying? You're just successful, living off allowance. And a lot of advantages, that are given, that are allowed, But, that's what I had to say, man. A lot of men need to understand that whole independent woman thing. It's fiction. You know what I'm saying? It ain't real. Because all they live on is allowance. All their rights are based on allowance. You know what I'm saying? And that's for the entire globe, allowance. That's just an honest truth. And like I said, I don't blame women for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're a pawn in this big game. They're a major pawn being used by our fellow men to obtain the advantage. And even if that advantage leads to chaos, it's still an advantage. Well, this has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. Peace.
They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of